Hello.
Hello. Give me 1 second. I have to undo all of the things that I set up for my local run. Um, so give me 1 sec to do all of that. You can go ahead and start streaming if you haven't already. Um, it won't show up on the screen yet.
Yeah.
Studio. And this is Metroid Dread, which is a 16 by 9 game. We already did our check, so we're good there. Um, oh, my mic is not muted.
In 20p, 60 FPS I think, but I use the NVIDIA broadcast to make it look like.
All right, everybody, we are back, and and it is working. So, welcome, Keku.
Hello.
He is going to be running Metroid Dread for us with Devilor on comms, and I am very embarrassed to admit that not only have I never played this game, I've never played a Metroid game.
Oh,
So
you
I
should.
don't have a whole lot to input here, so I'm going to stop talking about it and let Keku take it from here.
Alrighty, cool. So my name is kekumanshoyu. I've been running Metroid Dread since it came out. On comms with me is Devilor, who has done Metroid Dread runs as well. Hello, Devilor.
Yo, happy to be here.
And so the category I'm running is 80% no major glitches, dread mode. So this is gonna be a really exciting and terrifying run. When I say exciting and terrifying, I mean it. I really mean it. So, in dread mode, it's basically a one-hit KO mode. So, enemy attacks will kill me. Environmental damage, oh well, some environmental damage kills me, but like heated rooms and cold rooms don't kill me. They drain your health, so that's the good part. So there's a lot of like movement that I have to perform to accommodate what the mode is about. And so yeah, we're gonna get going, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo!
Would you like to explain this? Like how oh, by the way, this is going to be the short early space or early pseudo space route. Still, this is a good note for Devlor. But would you like to explain a little bit about the game, Devlor?
Sure, yeah. So Metroid Dread is if you're unfamiliar with the entire series, Metroid Dread is the most recent game in the series. It's also the furthest ahead chronologically. It's essentially Metroid 5, which is the sequel to Metroid Fusion, which came out on the Game Boy Advance, I don't remember, 2000, 2001, thereabouts?
Something like, no, 2002? 3? I don't know.
Something like that. Long enough ago that I feel old for having purchased it and played it when it was brand new. But this category is it's no major glitches, which means there are some glitches that are allowed, but some that aren't. The sort of rule of thumb is if it pushes Samus through geometry, it's not allowed. But if it allows Samus to like shoot through geometry or do a couple other weird things, it is allowed. And we're going to see the first one of those glitches here coming up just now. This is what's called a pseudo wave. He's actually shooting that blob from the wrong side of the platform in order to be able to get through that opening. Another one right there. Those were both very fast. This is very, very nicely done. I didn't actually see if you got the second one in just 2 shots.
Okay, here's Corpius.
Yeah, Corpius is the first boss of the run. If you were playing normally, he is not, but we were able to use those pseudo waves to get to him much sooner than we're supposed to be able to. Which also means that we don't have some upgrades that the boss fight is kind of intended that you have. Notably, we don't have Charge Beam and we don't have, excuse me, what's the name of it? Spider Magnet. Oh no! So what he wanted to do there was actually get a little hop in or a little bit of movement in so that he didn't activate this cutscene. But it's fine. He'll be able to get through the cutscene anyway. Reminder once again that this is on Dread mode difficulty. So as Keku was saying at the start, if he takes any hits at all, any damage on this encounter will cause Samus to die, which will then force him to basically start the encounter over from scratch. Metroid Dread is very nice in that it doesn't force you to have saved everything. You don't have to be saving constantly. It has like built-in checkpoints, but it's still a huge waste of time if he ends up actually accidentally dying.
Whew. I had to take a safety there. So you noticed that I was waiting. I was waiting for Corpius to shoot this puke ball so that I can replenish my missile. If I rushed into it and destroyed his tail, then he would have done that charge attack and I just would have been dead from that point on.
Yeah, so with Corpius out of the way, he now has access to Phantom Cloak. Oh no! So that's actually a lot easier to accidentally die there than it might seem, because there's only like a couple of pixels of space on the edge of that platform to be able to jump up on. Fortunately, this was immediately after a checkpoint, so he's able to get right back to where he was. And he's just gonna go ahead and be safe the second time through and shoot that.
That was so funny. I've done Dread mode so many times, but there will be a lot of places where I die anyway, so yeah. But the trick to like saving time, besides not dying, is if you do die, you hopefully die near a checkpoint. If not, then you lose a lot of time from that.
Yeah, so there are certain parts of the run where deaths are kind of like they're a time loss, but they're not the end of the world, and there are certain parts of the run where a death is like a time loss of upwards of 2 minutes from time to time. So if you're familiar with Metroid Dread, you may be wondering why he's not being chased by an Emmy right now. That's because of the route that he's taking, going over and killing Corpius before anything else. It means that the Emmy is actually not even active yet. He's going to have to do a little bit of trick later on to actually activate the Emmy, otherwise he soft locks the game. But before we get to that, he's got his first trick coming up here, or first real trick coming up here after the pseudo waves, I suppose, which is called Water Skip. He's going to have to do some fancy sliding and jumping and aiming to try and skip a little section of platforming here.
Yeah, this may take me a while.
He's essentially trying to bounce off of the top of that slope so that he sort of bonks his head and gets over to where that missile pack is.
That was close.
Oh, that looked so close.
There we go.
There it is. That's a trick I find either takes 1 attempt or like 10.
Yeah.
You never get it second try. Another similar trick coming up here that involves some jump manipulation, water platform skip. He's going to basically melee off of the wall and do a little hop. Very nice first try on that, which just kind of allows him to skip a whole segment where he has to stand on a platform and raise the water level of a little thing that would have then allowed him to slide through a section.
Yeah.
And as we come through here, we will pick up Charge Beam.
So Charge Beam had a lot of familiar properties as Super Metroid and Fusion, where when you're charging your beam, if you spin jump, it'll create this pseudo screw attack, kind of or like, yeah, it's called a pseudo screw attack. It's pretty cool. You see, like, here, I'll sample it right here, like that. This E-Tank I'm picking up, and you might be wondering, why are you picking up an E-Tank when you're going to be dead in 1 hit? Well, because in the, as I mentioned earlier about cold and heated rooms where it drains your health, I need just enough health to maneuver through those rooms. Otherwise, yeah, I'll die.
Yeah, there's a segment coming up relatively soon where... Are you going to go for the Hell Run in Katarus?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a section that it can be done without that E-Tank, but it's incredibly tight and basically requires perfect movement the whole way through. So it's smarter and safer to lose the, like, 4 seconds that it takes to pick up the E-Tank than risk losing... That's one of those spots where if you die, it's a huge time loss. Right. So it's better to take the E-Tank and just not have to... Basically, give up 4 seconds to avoid losing several minutes.
Right, exactly.
One other thing that I'll mention about Charge Beam, since that's the most recent upgrade we picked up, there's a couple of quick, sort of weird ways that Charge Beam works that allow you to get off super quick charges. One is if he begins to charge and then jumps, and then releases the attack button, it will fire off a charged shot as though he had already fully charged it. The other one is if he begins to charge and spins around. So there's a few points throughout the run where you'll see him doing some weird movement as he's charging and shooting. And that's literally just because it allows him to fire a charged shot faster than he would have been able to otherwise if he was just sitting there holding the button down.
Yeah, it's very, very helpful for like a lot of things, like the boss fight, when you're trying to shoot through a door faster, or yeah, like it's very, very helpful.
And so now he's on his way to the Emmy, but this is that trick I was mentioning earlier. This is called Magus Skip. It's very similar to the water platform skip from earlier, but requires a little bit trickier of a setup. Second, we'll call that try 2.5 because of the initial setup. But that's still very good to get that skip. And so you saw him also like run out of the room and then run right back in. That actually activates a cutscene, which causes the Emmy to be active. Which, if he had not done that upon defeating this brain encounter here, he would have been soft blocked and not been able to continue with the game.
Oh, that thing touched my toe.
I was just about to say, too, that these on Dread mode, these brain room encounters are some of the hardest things in the game. Normally, when you're not running on Dread mode, you're just kind of getting pinged around the room constantly, taking damage left and right. But since you can't take a single hit, all of these things flying around the room constantly are extremely deadly. So this is very difficult. Very nicely done.
I didn't even see that thing touch my inch. It was just inching toward my toe. That was crazy.
It's like when you stub your foot on a Lego in the middle of the night. You're like, where did that come from? So he's going to be going for a quick kill on this Emmy here. It requires very, very, very precise platforming. Not quite enough to be able to get it without having to hop over his head, but still getting that quick hop and immediately whipping back around to shoot it makes that a very, very fast kill on the Emmy. And this Emmy kill gives him a Spider Magnet, which typically speaking allows Samus to climb up certain walls. Climbing is slow, so we don't do a lot of climbing. But importantly, it does also allow single wall jumps in areas where Spider Magnet walls are there. There's a few other little things that it will allow, and it's required for a couple of very important tricks, notably Atom Skip. There's a bit that involves a spider magnet in Atom Skip, which will be coming up in about 10 minutes. But like you see right there, he actually just jumps off the wall and climbs back up again. And that's spider magnet. It's for doing wall stuff.
Oop.
Ooh. I guess at that point, falling down there isn't that terrible because you do have spider magnet. But there are routes where you can accidentally fall down there, and it's really bad. Oof, that's unfortunate. So you'll notice one thing he's doing here is he's actually activating Phantom Cloak and sliding. Normally, when you activate Phantom Cloak, you move very slowly, and we don't like moving slowly. We're speedrunners. We want to go fast. So what you can actually do is, as you like start a slide, activate Phantom Cloak, and then as you continue sliding, you will move faster. This is another room where the route is... Well, this room has to be handled differently than it is on non-dread mode. There's a pretty cool damage boost trick that you can do through that room. But on dread mode, you can't do damage boosts.
Yeah. So you saw me climbing through that, the fire that you saw venting out, that kills you in dread mode. So normally, I would just wall jump through everything, but you can't.
Yeah, it's been really interesting seeing the... So, I guess a little bit of background. I'm one of the leaderboard verifiers for Metroid Dread. So I've watched a lot of runs. And Dread mode is something that people weren't really running... Well, obviously they weren't really running right away because it wasn't added until later. It was added in the first ever Metroid DLC, which is a cool thing to be able to say.
Yeah.
But also... It's just really interesting, having been, at the time at least, very familiar with the no major glitches route, and then you see rooms like this that suddenly become way harder on dread mode than they are in the standard route. Good, quick thinking there to avoid that thing. That was scary.
Yeah, I saw it, and then if I didn't ledge grab, I would have jumped over it, but because of that ledge grab, I had to just take it even more safer.
Samus does love to just grab ledges.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of... If you want to run this game optimally, you want to not ledge grab almost every single ledge. You just gotta just fall down.
By the way, if you are familiar with the game, that is actually the last time we'll be talking to Adam throughout the entire run. There's going to be a skip done relatively soon that will... It on its own, it saves about a minute and a half of just running, but then on top of that, it saves another roughly minute and a half of not having to talk to Adam through the rest of the run. But that's coming up in a minute.
Ooh. Oh darn! I missed it was very close, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's another room that's handled differently if you're not on dread mode, because there's a damage boost you can do there. But now we're headed towards the Hell Room. So we'll be taking fire damage basically the entire time that he's in here, and it ramps up over time. Did get lucky with a health drop there, which is what we like to see. Always gives a little bit more of a buffer. Very nicely done.
Let's see if the enemy pops up nicely over here. Yep, that's a good spawn.
Yep, he'll chase him for a minute, but he'll lose him in the slide through here. The enemy can spawn directly in that door that he has to go through, which is just very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you know that how the enemy works, then you can dodge it. But I'm pretty sure for those who done this played it for the first time, they're like, why are you there? Or stuff like that. Oops. Well, all right, the enemy's on that side though. That's very nice.
Yeah, that's fortunate. There are ways the enemy can be basically where he was just standing right there, all the way over the right side of that previous room, which is super frustrating because if you don't have absolutely perfect room movement going into that room, oh no.
I totally forgot about that lava monster thing.
Yeah, it was fortunate that the enemy was not standing directly in the way. And that's a little bit of a time loss there, but not too bad. You can see he's just 2 rooms behind where he just was.
That's nice. That's what's nice about the enemy room, that they when the enemy is active, once you exit the room, then that's a checkpoint. But once
Other way.
once you're dead, then the checkpoint is from like another point or like
Yeah.
yeah.
By the way, nice job getting the slide under the opening after the button back there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. Oh wait, I need to. Dang it! I need to open that door. Oh well, I should have just not done that, but oh well. All right, I think
Yeah,
that
so
was my
there's-
third death.
Yes. So there are doors that open slowly throughout this game. There isn't really a strong indicator on which ones are which. But some of them we want to, even if we're not going to go through them right away. In fact, if we're not going to go through them right away, we want to be able to open them if we're going to go through them later. So that way we don't have to slowly wait for them to open, which is what he was doing there. And he aims up here because if you saw it, at the very top of the screen, there was a gate that started to open. And if he aims up while he's doing this, then that gate will be open later on when he needs to go through there, which is just one less thing they have to wait for.
Yeah,
Ooh.
little nice time save right there. All right,
Also
so here
sneaking
comes the
past that
trick.
bird.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, hit that time. The Adam skip.
Yeah, so this requires several almost frame perfect jumps, as well as a frame perfect melee and respin. It's very difficult, so I'll shut up for a second.
There we go.
Very nice. That was what, third try? Not bad at all.
Yeah, third try.
Third try Adam skip is very, very good. That's a trick that I've seen people lose upwards of, well, you can lose upwards of 3 minutes on it before you're actually losing time compared to not doing it because of how much of a time save it is. But it's definitely one that you can lose a ton of time to.
Yeah.
There, just a little bit of swag getting a pseudo wave shot through the wall so that he can hit the button from the other side. It does save like a few frames of time, but more it just looks cool in my opinion. Also, this cutscene is incredibly long.
Yeah. It's like, yes, we understand the lava's going down. You don't have to tell us.
There was actually one point I was doing a run and I was streaming it at the time, and my controller had been complaining about low battery, and during that cutscene I managed to run to the other room, grab the charger, run back, plug it in, and
Nice.
continue the run before the cutscene ended.
Luckily, I had that pseudo screw, but I missed the cycle, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an awkward timing in that room, also having to be able to get up to that platform at just the right height so that you're able to jump up to the other platform, but it's fine. Also may have seen there the use of a jump to do a quick charge on the door. That's a charge beam door that you have to have a charge shot to be able to open. So we just did a quick jump after we climbed up to make it a quick charge shot. Grabbing the second E-tank, again, just for those hot and cold rooms.
Yeah, this is a good safety to have for those hot and cold rooms. Oh well, especially the well, I'm gonna be entering a cold room in like less than 40 minutes or so.
That's another room. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say because there is a very important trick for me to do, and I have to go to the cold room in order to get the item that's there.
So we're now moving on to Dairon. This is just sort of a little detour for a minute. It is still a Metroid game, so even in a speed run, it's still going to make you run completely out of your way to pick up an upgrade so that you can get back through something elsewhere. Right. We want to get to the green Emmy so we can kill the green Emmy and get Morph Ball, because this is one of the only Metroid games where Morph Ball isn't the first upgrade that you get. But in order to get to that room, we have to get through a door that requires you to have wide beam. So we're going to go run around in a circle in Dairon for a minute, pick up wide beam. Ooh, almost.
It's okay.
Pick up wide beam, and then we'll head back over. That trick that he was doing there, by the way, is a little bit of using Phantom Cloak to kind of manipulate Samus's physics a little bit, which, when done optimally, allows you to get across that little section without having to do too much climbing. Not a big deal, not a big time loss either way, but it's another one that just looks super cool when you get it. This room requires very precise platforming, so it's very nicely done. That, not the one he just killed, but the bird just before that has a tendency to sort of knock you in the legs as you're jumping over if you don't have extremely precise movement through there.
Yeah, in a lot of my dread mode runs from during that area, I died to that bird so many times.
And that is quite a distance since the last checkpoint as well. So that dying to that would have been, I want to say about a minute and a half time loss.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
It's a really long really big time loss from there. And and that bird that just about to charge me, so like I took it slow, just so that I can melee it and then get that counter and all that. So that felt good.
These Y beam blocks, by the way, they tend to be uncooperative. I'll put it that way. They will just occasionally decide that they don't want to actually move. They'll just stand there right in your face, and you hear the most obnoxious like beeping noise. That's just like it's laughing at you. This one's usually not a problem, but the ones where you specifically where you have to like jump and land on something and then shoot. Something about the animation.
That was scary.
The accidental coyote jump.
I know. Oh, I was like, I didn't mean to jump like that, but it only happens. But oh my gosh, imagine that bird just about to like do another charge attack on me.
So now we have wide beam. We're heading back over to Cataris, at which point we will be able to get through the wide beam door that was in the way and go take on the green Emmy. So a little bit of backtracking through here.
Yeah.
There's a few points through the run.
You can go, sorry.
I was just going to say there's a few points with backtracking throughout the run. As far as the Metroid game goes, there's actually less backtracking in this one than a lot, but it is, like I say, it's still a Metroid game, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now on to this control room fight. Very nicely done. I'll mention something real quick as he's about to come out here to fight the Emmy as well. Metroid allows you to fire shots as fast as you can push the button. So you'll see a lot of cases where he'll just literally, or Metroid Dread, I should say, allows this. So you'll see a lot of cases where he'll literally just stand there and mash the button instead of charging or using missiles. This is a relatively safe approach for this, even though it looks super scary for this kill. So he just sort of went through the opening there, shot, there was a blob that was in the way, he shot that, and then just sort of stood there and let the green Emmy walk straight toward him and shot it in the face the whole time.
Yeah.
Easy every time.
Yeah. Oh, sort of. But I'm gonna say that as long as you keep the Omega Stream, which you know that machine gun like blaster, so if I keep shooting the Emmy, then the Emmy will slow down his movement. So you want to make a note of that when you're playing this game, or especially when you're speedrunning this game too.
Yeah, and especially the next Emmy that I'll do, which won't be for a little bit, but the next Emmy will be the yellow Emmy, which gives speed booster. And that one, if you're not maintaining the Omega Stream on him, he goes very fast. It's really, especially when you play casually like that. That Emmy fight playing casually was a nightmare.
Oh, same.
But then you figure out the quick kill, and it's like, wow, you mean I'll literally just jump once and shoot him?
Seriously? like that, right? Okay.
So now we're actually heading back to Arteria. Yeah. And there's a little bit of looping around we're going to have to do here. But the next upgrade we're headed for is Varia Suit. And we actually go through this red teleportal, I think, 3 times throughout the route. Back and forth. It might only be 2 now. I don't remember. I think it's 3 times in total we go through this teleport. One way or the other, I should say. Not necessarily...
I think 2.
Yeah.
Oh! Did I want to grab that? That's a waste of time.
Yeah, so the upgrade that he almost accidentally ran into there is an E-part, which is basically a quarter of an energy tank. And even if he did want that energy tank, this route does not go past 4 of them, so picking up one of those is just a complete waste of time.
Alright. Here, I gotta be careful with the vents and stuff, so... I'm gonna move a little differently than how you would normally see in a non-dread mode speedrun. Oh, I wall jumped? Crazy.
That's unfortunate. But this is a point where the checkpoint is just right where he just was, essentially. So.
Oops. That was odd. But oh, it happens. Oh. Alright. As you saw there, I stayed more because the fire vent just like pop up right in front of you, so yeah, you just gotta control your movement through that area and then you should be okay.
Yep, it's another one of those spots where on a normal run, or a non-dread mode run I should say, you're just taking damage half the way through there because you kind of don't care, but can't do that on dread mode. So and on that wall jump earlier, so normally what he wants to do when he's grabbing a ledge and trying to get up over it is he just does a quick hop, which just causes Samus to like vault over it, and it's very slightly faster than her climbing up. But unfortunately, sometimes if you do it just slightly too early, instead you jump off of the wall just below the ledge instead of actually grabbing the ledge and hopping over it.
Probably was like a couple frames early when I did that. It happens.
So now we're heading back through the red teleportal and heading back to Cataris, where we're going to meet up with an old friend of ours by the name of Kraid.
I think, well, it was theorized, but I mean, it could be true. Kraid is a species, so that's why there's like multiple instances of Kraid throughout the whole Metroid series.
This is possible, but also, like, if you watch the cutscenes especially, you can tell that this Kraid really hates Samus for some reason. So...
That's kind of true, right?
He's like, oh no, it's you again, must kill. Also having to be very careful with movement through here and actually stopping to kill these with missiles because, again, dread mode, can't take hits. Normally, on a normal run, we would just kind of bonk through them and keep running.
Alright, here we go. Kraid 2. I'll try my best.
There is a lot of potential RNG on this encounter, and a lot of the strategy for it involves just mitigating that as best as possible. This is some good starting RNG. It means he's going to get a few extra missiles. Has to be very careful here. In fact, using the charge shots because they clear out a lot of that stuff that Kraid is like vomiting at him. And he's standing in a very specific spot here because it allows him to pop those like bombs as they're approaching him. Coming up here with 28 missiles is really good. Getting some good initial RNG as well, helping him replenish some of those missiles. So there he actually did a little bit of careful movement, aiming at the wall to be able to skip a cutscene that otherwise would have wasted a lot of time. And he does have to be very careful of his missiles. That was so close.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice. What I was going to say, it doesn't end up mattering now because he's got 28 missiles, but he does have to be somewhat careful because of that missile door right there. It's possible to end the Kraid fight with 0 missiles and then just kind of get stuck there farming for a second. Yeah. Fortunately, there are a couple of enemies there that you can kill, but it always sucks to just sit there next to a door farming enemies, hoping that they'll drop a missile for you.
Have you had that happen to you before?
Oh, yeah.
You missed with that Kraid and then all of a sudden you farm for like a minute.
Yeah, especially in non-dread mode, like if I've taken any damage during the fight, then I'm like, the enemies will also give health power-ups instead, so I'm like just sitting there getting health power-ups.
Like, come on, man.
I had a run, it was a while ago, but I had a run where I lost like 30 seconds to that door because I had no missiles.
Oh, yeah. I think it would take long before. Like figuring out how to fight Kraid better and stuff, but like there were a few runners that were like on world record pace at the time, and they're like because of that whole RNG with Kraid, the drops and stuff. Oh man, it was such a bummer.
So now we'll be heading down through here and heading over to early grapple. This is a developer intended shortcut here. You can actually do a little coyote jump, kick off that wall. There is another way through there, but a little coyote jump, kick off that wall. This allows you to get essentially the wrong way into the room where grapple beam is, which allows us to pick up grapple very early throughout the route, which does a ton of things for us. Not only is grapple good for just general movement and getting around, but there's a couple of grapple blocks that this allows us to get past, which gives us much better routing through a few areas.
Yeah, and some of you might be wondering, like, some of you may have heard actually about like the Kraid quick kill, where you use bomb for a Kraid. The overall route for that is actually slower than the way I'm going through right now.
Yeah, that's one of the most asked questions about when people first start getting into Metroid speedrunning is, wait, why don't you do the quick kill on Kraid? It's like, well, we'd love to, but it's slow.
It'd be neat though, to be honest.
There is actually a category called, I think it's called Mercury Steam Percent, which is, really? Yeah, where you just go through and the route is that you have to do all of the developer intended quick kills and developer intended shortcuts.
Oh, neat. Okay.
So named after Mercury Steam, who is the developer for Metroid Dread.
Mm-hmm. So there are intended quick. So Kraid has an intended quick kill. Are there any other bosses with intended quick kills?
I'm trying to remember off the top. I can actually look it up real quick.
Oh, okay. Cool.
There's, I don't know about quick kills, but I know there's a lot of developer intended like skips where you can do things kind of in the wrong order. Like getting cross bombs before gravity suit, for example.
Oh, right. That makes sense. So now we're back at Dairon, with grapple beam now, so I can do a couple more things. Gotta get this here. Oh, I didn't mean to shoot. Hi Adam, bye Adam. Whew. That enemy spawn.
Yeah, that was rough. Needed some very precise movement to be able to get through there. Using Phantom Cloak as well, just to buy enough time. Excuse me, buy enough time with the enemy not seeing him to be able to get past.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. Missed the bomb blob, but whatever.
Yeah, that blob, like, you can break while you're standing on this platform as it's slowly lowering. It doesn't really save time to do it, but it's nice. There is theoretically a way that you can jump off that ledge, go into more fall form, and just kind of get a hole-in-one into it, but I haven't actually ever seen it done.
Oh, really? Oh, I haven't. This is the first time I heard of it, too, so...
Yeah, it may be. Honestly, I may be incorrect about that because, like I said, I've never seen it done. So now we got bombs, which allows us to bomb things.
Bomb things, yes. And use this bomb tunnel. This is a neat little feature that they added to Dread, by the way. So the bomb tunnel is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very similar to some stuff that was in like the Prime series. Has a lot of bomb tunnels like this.
Right.
But seeing it in a side scroller is very, very cool. We actually grapple this, and we don't really want the 2 capacity missile tanks because they're kind of a waste of time, but picking that one up is actually faster than going around the other path that doesn't have to take it, so we grab it anyway. Oh! I thought it was coming for you.
Yeah, I know. I thought so too, but then like, I guess it doesn't like open area, or they don't want to go over the ledge. I don't know.
It got most of the way there, and it's like, that's good enough. I scared her off. I've done my job today. Samus is leaving.
Don't come back.
So now we're heading over to Berenia. So one of the infuriating things about Metroid Dread is that all of the zones are named like starting with a certain letter that starts it. So like the first zone you're in is Arteria, and then there's Berenia, there's Cataris, there's Dairon, there's Elun, and so on. But what's infuriating is that you don't do those in order.
Yep.
We go Arteria, and then Cataris, and then Dairon, and then back around through those a bunch of bit, and then to Berenia. And that's even in the like, that's not even just a speedrun thing. That's the standard intended way. You don't end up in the B zone until very late in the game. So he did a little slide Phantom Cloak there specifically to get that beam enemy on the roof to wait just a little bit longer so that he's able to get past it without it shooting its beam. And a lot of times you'll see runners try and slide under that bird that was back in that previous room a little bit, or just duck underneath it and grapple. But this is Dread mode. It's super risky to do that. He has a tendency to run into you. So not doing that. But next upgrade we're getting is Flash Shift. And the way we're going to do that is a little funky. We're literally just going to juggle here at the back of this door.
Oh, I got the
first try.
trigger.
Very nice.
But I got the trigger, so gotta have to wait a little bit. But I think I got the first try, so not too bad. Yeah, so you can get through that. You can kind of see it's the platform is red at the moment because he accidentally landed on the trigger as he was going through. But you can do it without doing that would be the absolute fastest way. But getting it first try and still landing on the trigger is still very fast. Oh, no. What? Okay.
Why was he there?
I don't know. Okay, whatever.
I don't think I've ever seen him that far to the left.
That was the weird one. Oh,
that's never happened before.
Okay.
Yeah, see, he's supposed to be like moving over to the right, but he like as you entered the room was moving to the left for some reason. That's weird. So in this room, the intended method is to go all the way down to the bottom and shoot some blobs, but he's going to do a pause buffer method for a pseudo wave that will allow him to shoot these blobs through the floor and save a little bit of time that way. This also means that he doesn't have to do a specific trick called a water bomb jump, which isn't terribly hard. He will have to do one or two of those throughout the rest of the run. But this one has to be done at an angle, which is just annoying. So getting those pause buffer pseudo waves, shooting it through the floor, not only saves time, but also the pause buffer is a little bit more difficult than the water bomb jump, but then you don't have to do the water bomb jump. So it kind of helps.
Kind of a payoff in a way. But then optimally though, if you can do the pause buffer pseudo wave like super quick, you can save a good 8 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's about 10 seconds if you do it absolutely optimally.
Dang. We've seen runners that do it like very instantly pause buffering and stuff. Oh, dang it! I flash shift too late on that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point on Taz runs that don't necessarily need pause buffers, or they don't need the time on the pause buffer to set stuff up. I imagine that we'll see them doing some crazy stuff with it. But for now, we're just boring old humans speedrunning. This section here is interesting to me because it is actually possible to do the platforming through where he just went underwater faster than that. But if you do it too fast, the enemy comes down the other side, and then he's in the way, and then you die. So now we're moving on to the third control center encounter, and this one has kind of the most stuff flying at him. So I will shut up for a second.
Ah!
Very nice. That was touch and go for a second.
Yeah.
There are 2 remaining control center encounters that he'll have to do throughout the run, but he will have upgrades for them that make them way easier. That is the hardest control room fight in the run. And as you can see, as we were mentioning earlier, as long as he's keeping that shot trained on the enemy's face, he moves very, very slowly. So that was a incredibly quick kill on the yellow Emmy.
What is thought to be the hardest, with the easiest quick kill.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it was one that when I was learning this route, I was like, wait, so this whole time I could have just jumped up and shot him? That was all I had to do.
Whoever first discovered that, props to you.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, when you're playing this game casually, you're just kind of learning as you go.
Right.
But speedrunners have spent a ton of time learning specifically how to manipulate enemies into specific situations as we go through these routes. This is a very cool speed keep section, by the way. Oh, that's unfortunate, but
that's fine,
not the end of the world. Yeah.
But yeah, shout outs to the Dread community, the Dread speedrunning community for all the tech that's been found, and all the the work, basically all the work that has been put into making the speedrun for all different categories as efficient as possible. You know, discovering tricks, and yeah, big shout out to them.
Yeah, and the number of tricks that are still being found in this game is crazy. There are new routes found, new ways to set things up, new skips that are being found on a pretty regular basis. Like the unrestricted category a couple of months ago went from average runs being like the world record runs being around an hour, 2 minutes, hour and 5 minutes thereabouts, to now it's I think the world record is 42 minutes or something, because of a whole ton of skips that were found.
Yeah.
And this was in the last couple of months.
Oh, what the?
Oh no!
Why did I unmore? Okay, it's fine. What I wanted to say about the... Okay, I had something in my head, but I forgot. Anyway.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's got a channel that speed.
I was gonna say, if somebody can find out how to do the short boost... Oh, okay, whatever, we're gonna do the other way. If somebody can find out how to do the short boost easier, then let me know.
Yeah, an easier setup for short boost.
Yeah, that'd be great. Alright, I have to take this boss very carefully. His patterns are very erratic and RNG-like, so yeah, they're okay, not too bad.
Yeah, very nice, actually. We're fortunate that Shine Spark does not hurt you in Metroid Dread, so it doesn't kill you on Dread mode. Another cool little speed boost section here. You're also, by the way, one of the only runners I've seen that actually does that. I also do that, going to the left and using the speed keep to break those blocks.
Yeah.
I see so few runners actually do that.
It feels, in my opinion, and like doing it, it feels a little faster because you're already on the left side, so that you can like flash shift more into the next room. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. I mean, if I'm pretty sure you feel that way, and maybe others who do the same thing feel that way, but I don't know. So this is another route, just like a detour back through Catarith and making the way to Verenia. So we can banter a little bit on other stuff.
Totally. Yeah. There's actually really cool speed keep section that'll be coming up once we're into Berenia. But along the way, we're just kind of backtracking again. It's a Metroid game. We backtrack sometimes. I will mention, there's been a lot of general research done into certain areas, like the one that he was just going through as well, about specifically whether it's faster to try and do a speed keep with speed booster and shine sparks and stuff, or if it's faster to just flash shift. Metroid Dread is the first game that's had two like fast movement abilities like that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of like, in other games you just say, well, yeah, obviously you want a speed boost because speed boost means you go fast, right? But there's two different ways to actually go fast in this one, which is cool. Generally speaking, I think the rule of thumb is if it's more than a full set of flash shifts, then it was probably faster to speed boost. But yeah, I don't remember if that's actually true. But here's that speed keep section I was just mentioning.
Oh, missed it. Darn.
Unfortunate.
It's okay.
Sort of a second part to it here. Very nice. The timing on getting that done is a lot more strict than it looks. Do a pseudo wave through the wall here, which allows us to basically skip the Dragaga encounter, which is why it's called Dragaga skip.
Thinking that's super safe. There is a faster way to go through this room, but like, I'd rather take it safe than risk it. Because if you die, you're just going all the way back to the tram.
Yeah, dying in that room, especially like having just done drug skip, which you got in 3 shots, which is very good, and having to go through that whole speed keep section again, dying there is like a 2.5 minute time loss. It's really bad.
Yeah, I've lost run to that. I've lost dread mode run to all that, and it's horrible. Horrible feeling.
So the next upgrade we're headed towards is Super Missile, but there is a Chozo Robo Warrior. I don't remember exactly what the full name is. Chozo I don't know what to call it. It's a robot. We got to fight it.
Oh, I tried to flash it, but I lost my I lost count, I guess, but anyway. Darn.
Yeah, so he opens up on it with the speed boost, with the shine spark, because that does a ton of damage. But this one, unfortunately, there isn't a way to get another shine spark in the room like he did on the last one that he fought. So just has to do it the rest of the way by just shooting it. And yeah, these guys like to just shoot in random places, in random directions, and all over the place. And it's a lot harder to actually dodge everything than you might think.
Oh. Ooh, one last charge shot. That was nice.
Yeah, on non-dread mode runs, you just kind of bounce off of him constantly and use your invincibility frames to kill him. But can't do that on dread mode, so. If you're curious why he didn't die by running into that enemy there, it's because there's just enough space in that room to charge up a speed booster so that the speed booster kills it instead of killing you.
I don't know if you guys noticed those tongue flower things on the top, but if you don't move fast enough, they can kill you, and those things are very annoying.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, like when I haven't ever done a dread mode speed run of this, but when I did it on dread mode, I used this route to do it. And there's a lot of things that as you're going through, you're just like, wow, I never even realized there was an enemy there, but now I've died to it 5 times in a row.
The little creatures had a chance to shine.
Exactly. So now we take a quick little detour over to Elon. And unfortunately, we release all the X in the process, which means that now the planet's got to explode. But fortunately, Samus is here, and that's just how she solves problems. So we'll be fine.
Samus is like, no negotiation.
Exactly. If you ever have a problem and like your planet, don't call Samus. But the actual reason we're here is to pick up Plasma Beam, which is basically just a big damage upgrade for the Wave Beam. Or not Wave Beam. I actually forgot what it's called in Metroid Dread for just a second. Wide Beam, there we go. Using the speed boost through here, by the way, and the Shine Sparks to be able to kill these enemies so that you can get through that a little bit faster. Normally on non-dread, you just kind of bounce off of them, but you got to kill them to get through here on dread mode. The other thing, though, about Plasma Beam is that it allows his shots to pass through things. So there's going to be a couple of fights, if you remember those Chozo robots that he was fighting before, there's going to be a couple of them coming up where there's 2 of them. And what he'll actually end up doing is trying to position himself so that he can hit both of them at once with the same set of shots. So we'll see that when we get a little bit later on. But now we have our first Chozo warrior fight. And this one is, if you remember earlier where I said you can shoot as fast as you can push the button in Metroid Dread, that's kind of what this fight's all about. Very nice. First phase. Very nicely done. You could also see he was weaving in as he was mashing the wave beam, the plasma beam. He was also weaving in a few missiles here and there just for a little bit of extra damage. And we're done here. Time to leave.
And one thing you may have noticed that I shot my beam through the Shine Spark, so that's a neat little feature that they added to this game. When you, if you charge your beam right before you start your Shine Spark, all you have to do is press. Well, as long as you keep holding your beam, you press the R button, which is your missile button, and you shoot your charge beam through the Shine Spark. So there's going to be one more instance of that a little later on before the end of the game.
By the way, he just got first try on the hardest trick in the game, which is remembering to skip the cutscene after leaving Elon.
Oh, darn.
Oh, that was going very well. That's a really, really cool speed keep section. Getting that far is still very good though, because you can see it meant that the Emmy was up on top there, just kind of hanging out instead of in the way. So, and now we're going to see, at least for this run, the first instance of a water bomb jump. There it is. You did it. That room can be kind of annoying as well. All right, fingers crossed. No Emmy.
Good.
Very nice. I've done commentary for several Metroid runs at this point, and I have never, in a run that I've commentated, seen the Emmy in that spot, and that streak is now continuing, so thank you for that.
Oh, awesome. That's right. That is right. Commentate all the runs now, Devler.
He's also doing some very specific movement in that area. Like it's very deliberate the way that he moved to get up to this spot, because it caused the Emmy to be already coming through that door as he got up here. Otherwise, there's a couple of other ways you can move to get up to this spot that would have caused the Emmy to be further down on the other side of the door, which would have just basically meant that he had to wait around a bit. But the path that he took to get up here means that it's already coming through the door as he gets there, and he can just start shooting it right away. So now we have ice missiles, which are important primarily just for pathing purposes in the run.
Well,
yeah, like we needed to. Yeah, we needed to get. Well, okay, you're right. They actually, especially on Dread mode, there's a couple of enemies that we need to freeze to get past, as I recall. But most of what they do throughout this run is allow you to get past some of these like weird plants. I don't know why these plants hate ice so much, but they do. So it works.
Okay, heading to Perenia now to get the space jump. So I'm gonna be doing the pseudo wave shot, and there is an enemy nearby. But if I position right, I won't get hit by the fire that is shooting out. So you'll see in a bit.
Yeah, this is a pseudo wave shot that it took a while for the Dread community to figure out that it was even possible, and then figure out how to do it reliably. And it's still very difficult. There's a couple cues that he can watch for, that he will be watching for, but it is quite a tricky shot. One of the hardest tricks in this particular route. So here we go. First try and got past the fire. That is incredible.
Whew.
Very nicely done.
Thank you.
There is another way to get to Space Jump early that involves a whole bunch of very complicated bombing, but this route that
I was just about to mention
much
that.
faster. Yeah, the other way I actually find to be way more difficult than the pseudo wave personally. So I just learned the pseudo wave. And there you can see him using the ice missiles to freeze those enemies. So he can use one as a platform and keep the other one from shooting him with the fire.
Oh.
There's a couple enemies through here. This is the only place in the route that we see them, but there's a couple enemies in here that will drop bombs on the ground that are basically like power bombs. And if you're too close when they go off, you die. So we don't want that.
All right. So another detour. Going back to Dairon and back to Arteria. Right. So anyway, more banter if anything.
Yeah, this is another section with a lot of backtracking throughout the route. The next, what is the next upgrade that we're going for? There's such a large amount of platforming that has to go through here. I believe it's actually Screw Attack.
Yes, it's Screw
Attack that we're heading for next. Yeah. But we're going to have to go through a whole bunch of big, long platforming sections, back through a few areas that we've already been through, including one that was one of the first areas we saw in the game. He's going back. He'll essentially end up going right past where he picked up Charge Beam, which was the second upgrade that he got throughout the route. Very nice speed keep through here. Very nice. So interesting thing about Speed Booster in this game If you are midair and you shoot, you lose your speed boost.
Yep.
And also, if you walk off the edge of a platform, you lose your speed boost.
Yep.
But there's a couple things we can do to keep it. One is make sure when we jump that we're spinning the whole time, and you can kind of like rub up against a wall if you need to, and you won't lose it for rubbing up against a wall as long as you keep moving as soon as you land. And then the other thing that can be done is to go into morph ball form just before you go off of a ledge. Because if you're in morph ball form, you will continue to keep your speed boost. So what he actually had to do there, as he went through one of those rooms, was enter the room, shoot a door, immediately go into morph ball form, land, unmorph, shoot another door, and then keep running. And that's all within the span of less than a second that he had to do all of that. You remember this room, that's where he did the water platform skip, which was like the third trick of the run. And now he's going past where, if he had gone down to the left there, that's where he picked up Charge Beam. We are going through some cold rooms here, and we do not have gravity suits, so that guy had you. So he was taking a little bit of damage as he went through those rooms. With the E-tanks he's got, it's not a risk at all, but it is a possibility. Another water bomb jump here.
Oop.
And then some weird physics with space jump and this corner that for some reason, if you do enough jumping there, you can eventually get out of the water. And so now here he has to actually wait because there's a set of enemies that are going to come through that tunnel that he needs to not be in the tunnel when they come through or else he will die.
Yeah, just take it safe, you know?
Yep. Another water bomb jump. So the way a water bomb jump works, just to try and summarize it very quickly, normally if you drop a bomb while you're on the ground, you get knocked up into the air. But if you get hit by another bomb while you're in the air, while you're underwater, you won't get any additional height. What you can do is sort of prime one by unmorphing while you're in midair from the first bomb. And then for whatever reason, that will allow you to do a second bomb by jumping, morphing, dropping a bomb, jumping, doing a whole bunch of jumping, essentially.
Basically.
That allows you to get an extra thing. So now he has to do this weird physics thing again. But it's more difficult because he has a screw attack and can't see what he's doing. That pseudo wave that he just did there, by the way, took an embarrassing amount of time for the Dread community to discover. We were doing a whole bunch of extra routing and weird other stuff and like weird setups to try to get that pseudo wave to be able to knock that switch down and get through there. And then eventually at some point someone realized, wait, you can just walk up to the thing and then shoot down at an angle and you can get the pseudo wave.
Yeah, I mean, the setup of how you do is when you press the L button to do the free aim. And then what that does, if you're up against the wall, then Samus's sprite will push back just enough to put you in the right spot to angle at that bomb blob. Oh, but then you also have to crouch down and morph too. So that's how you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, we call it pseudo wave because there's an upgrade that we're going to get very late in the run called wave beam that allows you to shoot through walls. And there's a lot of points throughout the run where you're expected to use that to shoot through a wall to break blobs like that.
Yeah.
But we figured out ways to just basically shove Samus's gun through the wall and then shoot on the other side of the wall, and it goes through the geometry and hits the blob anyway, so that's why it's called a pseudo wave. So now we're heading up into Gavaron, and we just got a little bit of movement and platforming to do around here. Our next upgrade is going to be Gravity Suit.
Yep.
But there's a bunch of movement and going around before we need to get there. A few interesting things. You'll see him do a quick charge here to open this door. But it is a slow door, so he's got to sit and wait for it anyway. This missile tank... By the way, that missile tank is entertaining to me because in the 0% category or the minimum items category, you obviously don't want to be picking that up. 0% you can't pick up missile tanks. It's against the rules. And minimum items, the goal is to get as few items as possible, so obviously you don't want it in that one either. And there's this whole big different routing that thus has to be done just to get around the fact that that missile tank is in the way.
Really? Wait, I gotta see how that works. That's very intriguing right now.
Yeah, they end up going, I forget exactly what it is because I haven't watched one of those runs in a while, but they end up going all the way around, I think back through Artaria
Really?
to eventually get up over there. Yeah.
Interesting. Things you do in a speed run, you know?
Yeah. That's part of what makes Dread such an awesome speed game to me, is that there's so many different, like already there's so many different categories and different ways to speed run it that pretty much anyone can find a way to run Dread that fits what they're looking for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
So this is an unfortunate. So what he wanted to do was use his Shine Spark save to break those blocks earlier. Unfortunately, he didn't get that, so he had to use the Shine Spark to break the blocks. But now he's just going through this Shine Spark puzzle section here. And we'll grab that Missile Plus tank because it's right there. Might as well. And again, the reason we're down here is because we want Gravity Suit. But unfortunately, there's a tube in the way with like a hallway. And we probably could find some way to go around and get to the entrance of that tube, but why would we do that? We just do a little bit of light vandalism instead, knock whatever that thing is down, break the tube, and just go straight into it.
I wonder if somebody can find that out about like going through the hallway.
I mean, it's a hallway, right? Like there has to be a reason that hallway is there. There's got to be a door to it somewhere.
There has to be, right?
It's like in the background somewhere, and Samus is like, nope, I only go left and right. I don't go that way.
Okay, this is going to be one of the hardest fights to do, so I'm going to focus. But I mean, you can talk, but I'll be focusing.
So what he's going to try to do here is get these two to stand on the same level. But he's got to be very, very careful because there's just a lot going on, and there's anything that could hit him at any point.
Oh, darn it. I thought he was going to do his thing right before I land. Oh, well.
Yeah, he would. If he had done his charge when you were hoping that he would have done his charge, then it would have been just fine. But
yeah,
I will be quiet and let you focus.
Shucks, I didn't react in time.
There's so much going on in this fight. Like normally you're getting hit by stuff constantly, but you can't get hit by anything in Dread mode. So this is honestly probably the toughest fight in this run.
Whew. Oh, man.
Very nice. My first Dread mode playthrough, that fight took me, no joke, about an hour to get through.
Yeah, there's a lot happening, so it's understandable.
Yeah. Like I say, ideally what he wants is for them to be standing on the same platform. On a non-Dread run, what you do is you specifically allow them to hit you at certain points, or even just run straight into them at certain points to manipulate them so that they end up standing on the same level, even the same platform if you can do it. Obviously on Dread mode we can't do that, so instead it's more about just dodging 1,000 shots coming at you from every direction and just hoping to do it fast. And now we're heading straight on to another boss, Golzuna. There's some very specific speed booster tech that can be done on this fight to make it very quick. Otherwise, it slows down a lot.
So I can't do the next Shrine Spark here because I usually deboost into Golden, but since I can't do that, so I gotta like do this method. Oh, I went too close to the headbutt thing.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing to call out. What looks like his back end is actually his front end. Golzuna's head is the small spiky bit that he's shooting. All of these creatures are like that. The crab-looking things as well. It's their back legs that are the big claws.
Very interesting boss. Oh, creature.
And this is a very tough fight on non-dread runs as well, just because of the amount of damage he can do. But very nicely done. And you'll get the speed boost there to get the quick kill on the X-Parasite. Very nice.
Oh, and
so now we have cross bombs. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can explain how bad crossbow is right now. I was gonna talk to the elf after.
So cross bombs are the worst upgrade. If you could see right there, he actually dropped like 3 regular bombs before the game decided it was time to drop a cross bomb. Same thing just happened right there. I don't know why the game has such a hard time recognizing that you're trying to drop a cross bomb. Even when you're doing the inputs correctly, half the time it drops a regular bomb instead and you just sit there. But they do a lot of damage on Ravenbeak, I guess, so that's good.
Yeah, so I wanted to point out, you may, like, some of you may know like the other runs for Dread. I have Screw Attack, but some of the bosses, while they do take damage from Screw Attack, you exchange damage anyway, so that's the reason why I haven't been doing Screw Attack too much on some of these bosses.
Yeah, the double robot fight that he was in earlier is one where a lot of times you'll see people focusing primarily on Screw Attacks to get through it, because Screw Attack does a ton of damage to them. But it would be an instant death on Dread mode, so can't do that. There is a boss fight coming up that he will be able to use. If I'm remembering correctly, you can use Screw Attack on SQ, right?
Yes. Yeah. You can use Screw Attack on SQ, but you can't use Screw Attack on the core.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get to see poor SQ. We get to SQ in this route with a couple of upgrades that you're not supposed to have when you get to it when you're playing casually. So this fight that in a casual playthrough is just this very difficult, where there's like only certain damage windows or certain windows of time where you can actually damage him and all this stuff going on. We just kind of bounce on his head for a second like it's Sonic the Hedgehog and move on. But yeah, lots of movement. Like, movement is incredibly important in this game. There's a little bit of stuff going on right here, depending on where the Emmy is spawned. Looks like he got a good Emmy spawn, so he didn't even have to worry about it. There can be an Emmy that's just in the way there, so it may have been difficult to notice, but he was doing some specific jumping and morphing as he went through that underwater section, so that if the Emmy was in a bad spot, he would have gotten past it just fine. But this is a game where you can save just a ton of time with just optimal movement. Even if you don't necessarily get all the tricks correctly, even if you're struggling a little bit on certain bosses or whatever, literally just moving well can be, in a lot of ways, the biggest time save.
Alright, here we go.
So he's going to start off by charging a Shine Spark, and then we just bully SQ.
Oh, didn't get the flash hit, but that's okay.
And on a normal run, he would be bouncing off of this X core with Screw Attack, but for some reason, even though SQ himself doesn't hurt when you Screw Attack into him, the X core does. So
yeah, it's so weird. But as you notice there, I use a combination of Cross Bomb and Ice Missile. So if you do the damage like the combination of damage in the same frame or in the same like before the what's the thing called, the iframe take place, then you get a ton of damage off of them. And like there is a 1 round SQ core that I've seen only like one person do many times in his run. B-Dog, by the way. But yeah, like it's really cool how that looks.
Yeah, that one round kill is it happened so fast that I like when I saw it, I was commentating a run where he did it. I was like, well, how? What? Why is the fight already over with? Another very difficult double robo fight here, by the way. This one he does at least get a Shine Spark as he enters it, so he's able to use that on the gold robot, which is the one that has more health, which allows him to kill that one faster and then only have to deal with, essentially only dealing with one at a time. They're both up for a moment, but he only kind of has to pay attention to one at a time.
Taking a bit of a safety. Oh.
And we will end up using storm missiles for damage at a couple of points. But for now, they're really just to get through those blocks that allow us to get over here so that we can go and beat up the purple Emmy and get Wave Beam. And here's a control center fight. Okay, there was a control center fight. Blink and you'll miss it.
It's so nice to have screw attack. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the biggest reasons there's another route that I don't think is used in Dread mode because it's a nightmare. But there's another route that gets screw attack very, very early and ends up saving 4 to 5 minutes just because of how good screw attack is. So what he's doing here, he cannot miss shots, essentially, and he will be able to kill it by the time it reaches him. But this is a very, very specific timing. It's going to be very close. Very nice. Ooh, very nicely done. Very nicely done. So there's just enough space. There is actually enough space that you can, if you play completely flawlessly like a robot, you can actually break his faceplate, but without having to do that little hop over him. Keku, though, obviously recognizing that he needed to do that and gets that quick hop, able to finish off the faceplate while he's still up on that platform to the right, and then that gives him the time to drop down to the left, charge up the larger shot, and finish it off. It's a very, very fast kill. There's also another method called Deep Blue that can be used, which is essentially puts this whole section underwater, which makes that Emmy move slower. But as you might imagine, moving slower is slower, so you don't like that.
Yeah, that's the only trade-off. Like, while it's easier, it's just slower.
Yeah.
All right, back to Harnubia.
Yeah, we are reaching the end of the run now. We have 2 Chozo warriors to fight, and then Ravenbeak.
Yeah. Like a boss rush, basically, right here.
Yep, and we'll pick up power bombs along the way too, but those are really only used for just getting through some of the last couple sections here. Wow, that was very tight.
Sorry for like the close heart attacks. Oh, I didn't flash shift. Oh well. Bye.
So one thing you'll see him doing on this fight and also on the next one is charging up storm missile locks instead of just doing beam spam. These last 2 Chozo warriors have these shields that beams they block beams from going through. So what we do instead is we charge up these storm missiles, and then as soon as they drop their shield to attack, we're able to unleash the storm missiles, which ends up doing a ton of damage. And as you can see, he's able to get through the first transition phase very quickly. He also did a storm missile lock after he had dropped the shield. That's because he's technically invulnerable while he's transforming, so might as well save up a little bit of extra damage and fire off that storm missile as soon as he's vulnerable again. Very nicely done.
And then this red Emmy that never had his chance to shine, only during the cutscene, but you know, it didn't technically fight this Emmy, so.
Did almost kill Samus, but
yes,
then didn't.
Speaking of cutscenes, though, like all the cutscenes that you watch throughout, almost all the cutscenes you watch throughout the game, they're really, really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of. This is also, it's sort of a it's one of the few speedruns that you can watch without getting spoiled on anything, because all of the important stuff happens during cutscenes.
Yeah. Okay. Data bomb.
Nice speed keep through there. He's got to drop a power bomb and then boost up. Very nice. That poor robot tries so hard and just gets jumped over and ignored. And here's the gold Chozo warrior, the last Chozo warrior of the fight, of the run.
All right, let's hope a good pattern here. Oh, I hate this pattern. Woo.
Still very
normally
quick,
I mean and a really great fight is when he does the lunge attack after in the second phase, but if he does that jump attack where you shoot the black like laser thing, or I don't know, it's not really a laser, it's more like a liquid, yeah, it sucked because then you just gotta dodge it, flash shift as soon as you notice that he's gonna shoot it.
Yeah, it also means you're mashing at an angle, which, depending on your mashing method, can be very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Alright, on the way to the final boss. I'm hoping to not die to Ravenbeak.
I believe. So there's a few things you can do to manipulate how Ravenbeak sort of moves around. Some of them are incredibly risky on Dread mode, so unlikely that we'll see them, but...
Yeah. Here we go.
Very nice. What he just got is called Gold Skip. It saves a ton of time.
Oh! Flash shift backwards.
The wrong direction.
Wrong direction. I was trying to space jump, but that I guess I didn't let go of the left direction in time. Okay, here we go.
Very nice again. You'll also notice him dropping cross bombs in very specific spots because they actually do a ton of damage and they don't cost any ammo.
Ooh.
Very nice. One more phase.
No! I hit. I didn't react fast enough to that Shrine Spark. I saw it coming too, and then I was like, okay, jump, jump, jump.
Yeah, there's so much precise movement required. I mean, it's the last boss on the hardest difficulty, so of course it's going to be very, very, very challenging. There's a lot of very precise movement that's required on Dread mode.
Bad pattern. What? What the heck?
Now he's just being a jerk.
I've never seen these patterns before. Well, I mean, I've seen the attack, but like, never had it like that. Ooh, okay.
Very nice.
Ooh, nice.
Immediate cutscene here is very good. You're able to pump so much damage during this cutscene if it's early enough.
Holy smokes, that was great.
Very nice. That phase 3 was insane.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, with the what's it called? That melee attack at the beginning of that phase, that really helped out a lot.
Yeah. That phase 3 was just bonkers. So the next thing you're going to see here, by the way, you're going to see him just delay firing his beam for a minute. There's a lot of complicated math behind how this scene works. The short version of it is he has to have done a certain amount of damage by the time Ravenbeak reaches him, but you can't kill him early. And he moves slower when you're shooting. So we wait until a certain indicator to start firing so that he moves quicker for the first part of the scene and then still dies by the time he reaches. And now we just have the escape.
Oh. Fortunately, nothing kills you, so like I can touch anything.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of enemies in here, but they kind of don't matter. You just go through them, so...
Oh. Okay. Alright, let's try this Shrine Spark here. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, there's some cool Shine Spark speed keep movement you can do through there. I don't even know if it saves time. It just looks cool.
Oh, it does actually. I think our Candy did a comparison, and if you do the optimal movement way, you compare it to the Shine Spark. Oh, the Shine Spark does 14 seconds while the other one does like 18. So you save like 4 seconds. Time.
Nice.
That was Metroid Dread mode. What was my time?
Looked like from the stream, it looked like at the moment that you hit the cutscene, it was a 129.29 or 129.59.
Oh, really?
Just shy of a 130.
Nice. Whew. Man. Dread mode runs, by the way, it takes a lot out of you, but like once you finish one, you're just happy that it's over. But yeah, as you can see here, let's see how many deaths I got. 16. Holy moly.
Oh dear.
It's all good. my PB for Dread mode is a 120. I think it's either 121 or 120, but it was a run where I had only 2 deaths, and it was I think I'm like 2nd place on the leaderboard for that, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, I want to thank those from the Meteor Speedruns community to invite me to run this. It was a ton of fun, and thanks to Devilor for commentating. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, I've been super happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I don't know if Octini is still up. You know, I'm in Hawaii, so it's like 11:51 my time. But I hope yeah, I hope you guys have a good day or night, whichever you are watching from. Again, thanks to Octini for inviting me, and I hope thanks for raising money for the RIPDebt Nut Runs Marathon.
Thank you so much for running this game. I did catch the end of it. I didn't catch the whole thing, but holy crap, this game looks stressful.
Well, the Dread mode run is pretty stressful.
That was really impressive. That last boss fight especially was really intense. But thank you so much for doing that. Thank you, Devilor, for commentary. We are going to keep it rolling. We've got something significantly more chill, I think, coming up next, which is the Bard's Tale trilogy. Nice long run y'all can settle in for and kind of enjoy. So I'm going to throw it back into our BRB screen, and when I come back, we will have Organ Mike with Bard's Tale. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.